Hello everyone! Welcome to Teacher Frel TV! Our subject for today is English 4, Quarter 4, Week 3, Melc-Based. Let's learn about writing a reaction about a story. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to write a reaction about the story read. Hello kids! Today, you will learn about writing a reaction about the story read. In your previous lesson, you have learned to give conclusions to realistic fiction read. Conclusions are what readers make after reading a passage in a story. This serves as the ending of the story. After giving a conclusion to a story read, giving reactions follow. In this lesson, you will learn to write a reaction about the story read. Learning this will not only develop your writing skills, but as well as your reading comprehension. It will also require you to think critically. Look at the picture below. If a friend of yours shared this picture on Facebook, what emoji will you click? Is it like, love, care, haha, wow, sad, or angry emoji? Why did you choose that emoji? At this instance, you are already giving a reaction. You give a reaction to the illustration based on how you feel about it and the reason why you feel that way. Furthermore, your emotion towards something is often a result of your own experiences. If an event made you happy in the past, it would give you the same happiness once you encounter the same event again. Likewise, you will probably agree to the characters or events that made you happy and disagree to those that made you sad or angry. Here are some guides that might help you in writing a reaction about a story read. First, read the story carefully. Reread it for a deeper understanding of the story. Second, after you read the story, think of the following. A. How do you feel about what you read? B. What made you feel that way? C. Do you agree with the events or characters in the story? Explain your answer. D. What is the moral lesson of the story? And lastly, you can already write a reaction upon answering these questions. Remember that there is no right nor wrong answer in giving reactions. However, it is important that you clearly understand the story before you give your reaction to it. And now, let us do Learning Task 1. Read the events below. Choose the emoticons in the box that will best describe your reaction to each event. Do this in your notebook. Here are the emoticons that you will going to choose. Number 1. One happy day, Annie didn't want to play. She just stayed at home all day. What emoticons will you choose for this event? Correct. The answer is letter C, sad face. Number 2. Annie's mother was sick. She had to buy a medicine late at night. She walked through the dark street alone. What emoticons will you choose for these events? Very good. The answer is letter B, afraid. Number 3. Annie saw an open pharmacy nearby. Some bad boys came and snatched her money. What emoticons will you choose for this event? Very good. The answer is letter D, angry. Number 4. Annie shouted loud. Some police officers patrolling the place heard her. They ran after the thieves and returned the money to Annie. What emoticons will you choose for this event? Very good. The answer is letter E. And number 5, Annie was able to buy her mother's medicine. Her mother was finally well. Annie can now play. What emoticons will you choose for this event? Very good. The answer is letter A. Happy face. And now let us move to learning task 2. Read the story below. Write a reaction to each story by answering the question that follows. Do this in your notebook. Number 1. Gabby found a puppy on his way home. Thinking it had no owner, he brought the puppy home. The puppy was playful. It learns fast. Gabby liked the puppy so much. One day, he passed an old tree with a poster of a puppy missing. It was the puppy he found. He was hesitant at first, but decided to return the puppy to its owner. The owner thanked Gabby for taking good care of the puppy. Do you agree with Gabby's decision to return the puppy to its owner? Explain your answer. Yes, I agree with Gabby's decision to return the puppy to its owner because the owner of the puppy had a hard time looking for his lost pet and maybe he was very sad and afraid of not seeing his pet anymore. You have to give back what is not belong to you. Let's proceed to the next event. Number 2. Jaden was an industrious 9-year-old boy. He sold pancit in the morning and banana Q in the afternoon. When asked about the threat of being infected by COVID-19, he just said, I have to help my parents and I'm already wearing a face mask to protect myself against the virus. Do you agree with Jaden? Explain your answer. No, I'm not agree with Jaden. Though he just wanted to help his parents, but he was just only 9-year-old and there was a threat of being infected by COVID-19. There is a protocol for children below 18 years old that is not allowed to go outside. He have to obey the rules of the government for him to be safe. He must be afraid of what the COVID-19 will do to his health. Let's read the event for number 3. Father and mother left early in the morning to sell sampaguita and candles in front of St. Ferdinand Cathedral. Leo was instructed by mother to look after his younger siblings until they returned. Leo obediently followed mother. When mother and father arrived in the evening, Leo and his siblings were already asleep. The house was clean and there was food left on the table for mother and father. Do you think Leo is admirable? Explain your answer. Yes, Leo is so admirable because he is a responsible son and know how to help his parents by doing other tasks of preparing food for them and cleaning their house aside from taking care of his younger siblings. Let's proceed for the next event. Number 4. Lester and his friends went to the river to swim despite the heavy rain. He went further and further into the water. Then his friends heard him shouting for help. Luckily, a passerby saw Lester and saved him from drowning. Do you agree with Lester and his friends when they decided to swim in the river despite the heavy rain? Explain your answer. No, I'm not agree with Lester and his friends when they decided to swim in the river despite of heavy rain because swimming in the river while the heavy rain is there is very dangerous. And for the last event, number 5, Jackie learned in science class that pieces of moon rock fall from the sky. That is why she always keeps a helmet and a shield by her bedside. She also keeps her eyes on the ceiling until she falls asleep. Do you agree with Jackie's idea of always keeping a helmet and a shield by her bedside? Explain your answer. No, I don't agree with Jackie's idea of always keeping a helmet and a shield by her bedside because no one knows when and where it will happen. The moon rock falling from the sky will take so many years before it falls to the earth. Maybe Jackie feels worried about this matter. And now let's move to learning task 3. Read the story carefully. Write a reaction about the story by completing the paragraph. Do this in your notebook. Let us read all together. The title of the story is The Moth and the Flame, adapted by Lilibet A. Magtang. It was dusk and cold. Moy Moy, a young moth, was ready for his nightly flight. Excited, he flapped his wings and off he went. He started following a speck of light he saw at a distance. That must give me warmth on this lovely but very cold evening. Moy Moy flew fast so he could reach it at once. Not long after that, he heard a familiar voice calling from behind. It was his mother gasping and panting. "You can't be out tonight all by yourself. Let me go with you," she said, still catching her breath. "Oh, thank you, Mother. Let's go see the beam of light. It surely would be a good source of heat." Moy Moy grew more and more curious as they drew closer to the light. At last, they got close to the light. Moy Moy couldn't help but admire that lovely sight of the flame burning brightly from the oil lamp. Realizing this, Moy Moy's mother warned him not to fly too close to the flame. But the young moth was attracted to the light and warmth of the oil lamp that he did not mind his mother's advice. Round and round the flame he flew. Finally, he hovered so near the flame that his wings got burned. His mother hugged Moy Moy, who was badly hurt. And now, complete the following sentence. Let us answer. After I read the story, I feel sad because Moy Moy's wings got burned. I agree with his mother's advice not to go near the flame because it will harm him. The moral lesson of the story is always obey your parents because they just only want you to be safe. And now let's do learning task 4. Read the story carefully. Write a reaction about each story by answering the questions that follow. One Sunday morning, Anna went to her grandmother's farm. She was so excited because grandmother said there were plenty of butterflies in the meadow that day. Anna liked butterflies so much. She went to the meadow with her dog Brownie. Anna saw a beautiful orange butterfly. This was the first time that she has seen this. She chased the butterfly until it landed on a big gumamela plant. Anna was about to catch the butterfly when Brownie barked loud. Little did she know that there was a big snake nearby. Anna hurriedly went home and told grandmother what had happened. Answer the following questions. Number 1. What did you feel after reading the story? For me, after reading the story, I felt scared. Number 2 question. Why did you feel this way? For me, I felt this way because there was a big snake nearby Anna that might bite her at any moment. Next question. Do you agree with the characters' actions in the story? Explain your answer. Yes, I do agree with Anna's action during that time because it is safe to hurriedly go home to avoid the possible danger that will going to happen. And for the last question, what is the moral lesson of the story? For me, the moral lesson of the story is to be aware of your surrounding, especially in a place where there is no people around you. Always ask for guidance from an adult when you want to go anywhere. And now let's move to learning task 5. Read the stories below. Write a reaction about each story by answering the questions that follow. Do this in your notebook. Let us read the story for letter A. Lucas was a 9-year-old boy who loved mobile games. Mother often scolded him to stop, but Lucas was stubborn. One day, Lucas was playing his favorite mobile game when he suddenly felt dizzy and fainted. He was lying on the hospital bed when he woke up. Lucas spent a week in the hospital. Before he left, his doctor advised him to do physical activities, eat and sleep on time, and limit his mobile usage to an hour a day. The doctor also warned him of the health problems caused by too much exposure to mobile phones. From fear of getting sick again, Lucas followed the doctor's advice. Lucas became more lively and cheerful. And now, answer the following questions. Number 1. What did you feel after reading the story? For me, after reading the story, I felt happy for Lucas that he stopped playing mobile games and followed the doctor's advice. Second question, why did you feel this way? I felt this way because he became more lively and cheerful. Third and fourth question, do you agree with Lucas when he followed the doctor's advice? Explain your answer. Yes, I do agree with Lucas because when we follow the doctor's advice and obey them, we won't be sick. And for the last question, what is the moral lesson of the story? The moral lesson of the story is to limit your gadgets and take care of yourself first because health is more important. And now let us read all together the story from letter B. Paul is a big boy. He is a naughty brat. Instead of playing with toys, he destroys things around him. He cuts trees in a row. He does not know about taking care of the environment. Though his mother and father always tell him to change his way, he does not listen to them. He does not show concern for the environment. But one day, Paul learned a big lesson. Flood took away their house. Nothing was left to Paul. The people offered help to Paul and his family. They gave them food, clothes, and they also helped them to rebuild their house. From then on, Paul changed his ways. He no longer spoils other people's days. People smiles at his ways. He now enjoys being with people and helps Mother Earth grow trees. And now, let's answer the following question. Number 1. What did you feel after reading the story? For me, I felt sad about what Paul did. But after reading the story, I felt happy for Paul's changes. Second question, why did you feel this way? For me, I felt this way because he changed his attitude. Third to fourth question, do you agree with Paul when he finally decided to change his ways? Explain your answer. Yes, I agree with Paul because anybody has an opportunity to change for good. And for the last question, what is the moral lesson of the story? The moral lesson of the story is to listen and obey your parents, love your neighbor, protect and take care of our nature. Remember, there are some guides that might help you in writing a reaction about a story read. First, read the story carefully. Reread it for a deeper understanding of the story. Second, after you read the story, think of the following. A. How do you feel about what you read? B. What made you feel that way? C. Do you agree with the events or characters in the story? Explain your answer. And D. What is the moral lesson of the story? And lastly, you can already write a reaction upon answering these questions. Remember that there is no right nor wrong answer in giving reactions. However, it is more important that you clearly understand the story before you give your reaction to it. So kids, do you understand our lessons today? Wow! Good job! Kids, I hope you learned a lot from this lesson. Until our next topic, bye-bye kids! Thanks for watching!